Yeah, sir. Yeah, okay. Sir.
Okay, because it's already 10 minutes and we will also be stick to short today also. And you guys can practice this weekend maybe little bit on these concepts. I think Visual Studio also already signed up. I think so. Let's see. So what I'll do is I'll try to create here new project. Okay, ARM. Okay, that's the one, and I don't want anything except Visual Studio. So here it's a blank template example. Okay, so now we have a blank template with a JSON. Okay, there's nothing here. Okay, so the first point is just to explain you here again, or just recap what we have done. If you want to create any of the new ARM templates, okay, either you can go to the GitHub and take the templates from here. Okay, use any of the
They have a
template.
GitHub option in the portal itself, right?
Sorry.
They have the GitHub in the portal itself.
Yeah, it is there. See, if you go to the docs.microsoft example, or Azure portal.azure or azure.com, he said some password issue. Uh, did you guys enter the password
No,
to log in?
in your system.
No, to the portal, the meeting.
No, I entered the password. It is working fine.
Yeah, working fine, right? For Bobo, it is not. Okay, so if you go here normally under any resources, okay, you see here you have code samples. This is for developers, okay, and I think here you should have something. Yeah, code samples. So you have more than 500 plus code samples, okay, where you can filter out with maybe say example. I want a VM virtual machine related example. Where is that V? Yeah, virtual machine related. So when I search with this, okay, this is for Python, okay. This is the codes basically, nothing. See, you have all these options like Node.js. If Ruby is Amazon guys use, most of them are Ruby. Okay, Powershell, like this lot of things you have. Out of this, we use normally these guys almost 500 plus templates we have. Okay, and these templates can be we can use it whatever the template we wanted. So say example, uh, let's try to create one of the basic, very basic one, a simple VM. If you take it, okay, blank template, which is nothing but the one which we open now. This is a blank template. Okay, so here there are around 6 parameters or mandatory. Okay, this is the content version. It can be anything, the schema and parameters. So the parameters, whatever you're entering for your resources, that goes that should be made a relationship between this and this. Definitely you wanted to add resources. Once you add the resources, variables and parameters must be associated with each of these resources, right? And then when you execute the entire script or the solution to build, you need an output. So that's what the output section. Okay, so I'll repeat, it's very simple. uh, these are the important things where you will be adding the resources. Okay, from scratch, if you want, I don't think so, any of you, can go from a scratch, but you can still always, give it a try, but you'll definitely encounter a lot of issues, okay, when you go for the scratch. But the idea for going for the scratch is you would be, adding the resources automatically. Variables and parameters would be, automatically added. Okay, later point, if you want some kind of, output, once you build here, okay, the output, then you can go for the output. Okay, so what we can do is now, um, what we can do is, maybe you can add here, for example, add new resource group, okay, or new resource. Here the resources would be, coming up here. So the first thing is, for to do anything, you need a storage account, right? So you can create the storage account name, example, my storage, okay, example, click add. So it has created all these parameters. Okay, and if you see here, variable also stored. Okay, so this name, would come here under parameter sections. Okay, so when you build this, only this section, okay, it should be creating a storage account for you, okay, for your resource group. So you need to have a resource group. Under that, you can, deploy a template. So if I go for another portal, okay, which is maybe this portal example. See, this is the, Microsoft portal. Now this is where, it says that, how to create the first ARM template. Okay, if you go through this, okay, what he says is you need to have this code.visual studio or Visual Studio. In our case, the most advanced one we use, that is the Visual Studio. If you don't have Visual Studio, you can always go for code.visualstudio.com, okay, which would, give you this website or this application, this one. Okay, so this application, actually, you can create a new file. Okay, that's what he says. Okay, okay, new file. Here you need to, write from a scratch, or what you can do is, basically, you can, get it from the GitHub, or from the sample. So in our case, okay, if you go for this sample, okay, so new file, these are the parameters anyway. Okay, so let's compare. If you look at the, if I copy this code, okay, JSON template, and paste it here, okay, and when you check this, the other code of your JSON template complete. So copy. I just wanted to compare. Okay, so what we have done. Okay, so here, if you look at, the schema is there. Okay, the storage type, these are the extra things. Okay, these are the parameters what we got it. Okay, and then the variables and the resources. Okay, so in the variables you have, you are, trying to, make a relationship between your unique string which you are, entering. Okay, while creating storage account, you will pass the parameters, right? For that, the value it is asking. Okay, in this, here the name, okay, type, API version, SKU, right, SKU, depends on, okay, tags, display name, storage account, all these, and then kind. So almost the same thing, if you look at the template what Microsoft has given. And okay, let's try to, first deploy with the Microsoft one, and then, we'll come with our code to, deploy, so that, it should, create something. Okay, so let's log into the portal. I should give you access. Ashtabhai, you should have a control now. Okay, so I think this was created earlier. Okay, part of the testing. So you tried with the ARM 1 and ARM 2, right?
I tried with, creating all these things, but I had some issues with second VM I was created.
Okay, it's a fault domain also you created. Okay, from the
So if
GitHub
I
you try
created
to
a
create.
no, I created as it is. I try to create it in this deployment option in this in here. There is an option
This
called
one, huh?
GitHub option in here, right? No, no, this deployment option in here. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Oh, custom templates you created. Okay.
I was tried all these things. It shows me here. I don't know. So,
Yeah,
no,
directly you can get it from
it shows
the
me GitHub
GitHub.
option.
Yeah.
I need to go back again. Shows the screen. In here, we can have the options
Yeah,
of
you can basically pull here the list.
mm,
This is
blend
similar,
everything.
nothing but it is pulling from the GitHub. Basically, Microsoft owns that GitHub. Microsoft sponsors this GitHub. Every code, you talk about even Linux codes also getting stored there. That's how it is, defined now.
It's okay. Just last time we were working with this one. Okay, we conclude this class. I will ask my daughter later.
Yeah, sure. So what we have done is we we created the code. Okay, this is the code. Okay, so what we can do is we can save this code. Okay, to maybe my one of the directory. Okay, test dot test.json. Okay, the file name. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, just dot save. Let's see if the file is saved in the proper way or not. Yeah, it is saved with the test.json. Okay, and this is the time 3:24 or t 3:23. This is the same time. Okay, so what we'll do is we will use these commands. Yeah, so once we have copy pasted this, okay, what it is trying to do is, if you look at the code of this, so under resources it is trying to create a standard LRS storage accounts under Microsoft storage format. Type is the resource type. This is a resource and resource type is storage account, and the name, and then the kind is storage under location called South Central US. Okay, so what we do is we will go here, we open up the PowerShell. Okay, you can execute by logging to the um, you can log into the one second. you need to log in with the PowerShell. Okay, if since I've already closed the PowerShell and I'm trying to reopen, so the first command would be the to log into the PowerShell. Okay, so in my case, login hyphen Azure RM for the resource manager. Okay, so if I enter this, it will start popping up an Internet Explorer or whatever the default browser. Okay, in my case, it is the Chrome, and it will ask you to enter username and password. Okay, so where we enter the username and password, Ashraf ji, एक बार. Okay, so now it has been logged in. The next thing would be the creating your own resource group. Okay, so new Azure RM resource group, and the name would be whatever the name group. Say example my demo. Okay, there's a resource group, and if you want to go to the West US, you can give West US. Okay, if the name is correct. Okay, it might be wrong, so you can always refer in the portal or the list of regions. So here you can get it, get the locations. Okay, so here you can pull the new resources and the get location for the list of locations, or you can pull it from the portal and type properly. So in this case, if this works, let's see, West US. So it has been created. Okay, successfully it has created West US. Okay, and the resource group is my demo. If I go back to this portal under my resource groups, I should have my demo. Okay, and I'm sorry, for me it was not showing properly. Yeah, yeah, this is West US location. Okay, and the demo, there's nothing now. If I want to create uh, a storage account, I need to execute the next command, which is with by modifying my test demo. Here my demo. Okay, my template file is test. Okay, new RM resource group. Okay, which is this the group, and for that we are trying to do a deployment. Okay, so the resource group we have created, under that resource group we are trying to use a word called deployment. Okay, and called resource group name is my demo. Under that I'm creating a I'm using the same template, which is this template, which is the one, this one, temp dot, not temp, this is test. Okay, let me open that, the same one, test, open. So this is the one which we checked it in the same. So here you can change the location. For example, in this case you wanted this to be uh, West US. Okay, cancel, file, save. Okay, let's create this one and then execute. So now it is actually creating a storage account in that region. It's still working actually. So it has created the storage account. By this time it should be executed. See, this has been created now. This template has been created. Now what we'll do is will also create from our template. Okay, so for that what we do is actually we have to go here. This is what we have done. What we have done is we added under resource. So let's see, it may or may not deploy uh, if the resources are not proper. Okay, let's see. Deploy new. Oh, before that you can always validate event. So the once we have signed up, yesterday we signed up, so the account is still coming up. Okay, so I can choose here new resource group, maybe Central US or West US to create here the template, my storage, LRS, validate. So this is just validating this template. Okay, okay. So the output, if I go to the output, the template is valid. Okay, and deploy. So normally, what you guys will do is you go to the GitHub and get that code, okay, and modify it. Okay, if not, what you can do is you create your own. For example, in this case we just created my demo. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take this my demo code. Okay, successfully deployed this one this time. Okay, sorry, not this. uh, if I go here, I would have some other template called this one, which we created here. One storage account got created under West 2. So what we do is normally if you want to redeploy the same thing, okay, I would actually go to the code, okay, that is the deployment script, okay, and use the same code. This is the code we have used in our uh, .NET or the Visual Studio, or or you call it as JSON or whatever the template. Okay, the same code automatically can convert into another languages. In fact, I'm only showing you one language, but most of them, at least 99% of the people will use only JSON templates. If somebody is coming from a AWS, they might be using Ruby or Python. Okay, this is a .NET based code, and for the PowerShell, what they are doing is here, they're simply using the same commands to get created. These variables they are defining, and they're trying to deploy this template. Okay, so what we have done is now I'll show you two things. What we have done with the PowerShell, existing templates we have deployed. Okay, what we have discussed is you have a template. Okay, you have a template called JSON template. Okay, so one is the creation of the JSON template is one part. Okay, either you create from the GitHub, get it GitHub, or you create a normally in a portal and then convert that or download that JSON file and reuse that. Okay, for deploying that entire JSON file, you can directly deploy it from the Visual Studio we tested. Also, we tested from a normal PowerShell. If you have a already existing JSON file, what you can do is you can use the templates can be recalled to deploy from the PowerShell. That's what the idea. So the major advantage what we have seen is here, if you if it is a existing, or if you want a template kind of information, you want to save it, you save in a template that's called JSON template. Once you have the JSON template, what you do is you will be reusing that templates again and again to deploy either from a portal, which is uploading from the portal, and templates, right? I did show it yesterday. I'll show you once again. Simply go here, and if you type it in the template, okay, so here which is in previous section at this point of time, you can add the template, okay, whatever the template you have, and add your template and then use the template. Okay, copy paste here whatever the template. It's a simple text file. So once the template is ready, okay, simply 1 second. Yeah, sorry guys, phone is. Yeah, so you just this is for storage, right? Storage creation template. So you save the template, okay. uh, Storage. So you have now existing template. This can be reused again and again. So you will have here templates. So this is one option, okay, creating templates or reusing by having the JSON file. Other one is you can deploy from here directly, okay, or you can either you deploy from the these templates, or I mean, it's a people choice, okay? It's the engineer choice. You either deploy from the PowerShell. If you have a template is saved in your local machine, open up your ISC or your PowerShell command and show the template to deploy it with the deployment option. Okay. Other one would be the you create existing template. Say example, you have a VM, existing VM. In my case, if I have a VM here, maybe ARM1 VM. Okay, example. I'll go here under scripts, okay, automation scripts. So I'm satisfied with this, configuration example, whatever the extra configuration it has. Okay, I'll simply deploy it to a new machine. Either I can choose the existing template instead of again rewriting or recreating everything. I can simply use this to reuse that. Okay, maybe I can little bit change the requirements by editing here. Okay, that's into the ARM side. Okay, for the PowerShell, yeah, these two things you need to have um, great practice basically. Okay, little bit, is that okay from compared with yesterday?
Getting used.
Yeah, the only thing is we have to practice this, and it doesn't mean that you are going to actually work on ARM templates. It's a very very rare requirement what you are going to get it, this requirement. But once the requirement came, you have to work definitely. Okay, so the next one, we can check for the web apps basically. Okay, um, we did talked about the networking side. The two There are two components. Okay, what we have discussed is uh, in the networking section. Basically, site to site. One is the VPN, that is for site to site. Okay, the important point, site to site VPN. Okay, um, and the next one would be the point to site, that is for the developers or a home users can use it. Other one is the express route. Okay, these things are definitely we would get it into the production. Okay, and storage we discussed. Okay, and the web apps. Okay, let's create a normal web app for today, and we'll see more tomorrow in depth, that is on Monday. Okay, in depth on the web apps. Okay, so creating web app is easy. I did already shown in the demo. That's what we are going to do, the same thing. Okay, it can be a mobile app or it can be a web app. So by doing these things, what will happen is it gives you a framework. That's it. Okay, once we have a framework, okay, framework was created. Actually, these things would be created by your developers. Okay, but just to we should also know how to do it from the portal side. That's why we are trying to learn this. Okay, so once we created, or maybe a developer created these, okay, what they do is they actually either code, okay, directly doing a code on code from Visual Studio, or what they do is, when I say code directly from Visual Studio, means this web application, whatever the web application got created, okay, that directly opens in a Visual Studio, and whatever they are doing line by line changes, that gets affected into the live or to your demo or your UAT portal. Okay, that's a option one. Other option is what they do is offline development team, they completely develop everything and then they simply upload to a FTP site, okay, which provides by these sites. Okay, these sites will have their own FTP username and password. So they would log in into that and they upload the code. After that, the web application content would completely changes from demo to production, or maybe to UAT or something like that. Okay, so we'll create a simple web app. Let's create a new web app. Okay, so this should be, if you look at here, this is getting created under Azure websites.net. So there could be many, of the websites would create under Azure website.net. But if you want to have a custom domain, later point you can create a custom domain. For now, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to create um, LAN 502 example. So this is the website len502.azure website.net. It's going to create under a free tile, under my resource group name called maybe len502. Under Windows, this is the service plans. I'm going to talk on this later point. So this is the critical part. I mean, anybody can create these applications, but understanding the web apps, how they are priced, how they are customized, how can we move one plan to another plan. Okay, all these things can be done in the service plan. So for now, I'll choose as a default and I'll click it create. Okay, so this gets actually creating a website as well as a service plan. Two things. One, this is a website. Second thing is the service plan. So as what I've done is I've actually used the default service plan. Okay, so let's have a look on the all resources. Maybe len 502, which was created here, a resource group. Under this, there's no resources at this point of time. It's gonna refresh. It has to create. Sometimes really slow, will not have a control. So it's still deploying one. See, it's deploying this. Nothing was deployed in fact here. Yeah, now it got deployed. Okay, so if I go here, my app services. So this is the one. Okay, I mean you would be looking for the web applications. So let's go to all resources. Let's see how the icon looks like. See here, the web service is this, which is app service. Okay, this is the app services. This is a service plan. So So what is a service plan is, um, say example, this website you created, example you bought a domain. Okay, you bought a domain and you hosted with a GoDaddy. Okay, so what would happen is, while buying this website from a GoDaddy, okay, they would ask you, pay this amount per year, and this is the uptime I give you, this is a free space I give you, something like that. They would ask you similarly for these services, okay, to run this web application which runs on a browser based. They have created a service plan. We are going to talk about the service plan in a minute. Okay, so service plans are, different types you have here. So these plans based only these sites would, run up. Say example, if disaster recovery happen, okay, whether your services can be, run or not. So or you are, moving your application from production to development, example, or development to production. Okay, what happens to your web application? Do I have a downtime, or is it going to be smooth, or do I need to take a backup? All those things would be, discussed under service plan. Okay, so let's, first, jump into the normal website, then we'll, jump into this service plan. Okay, so for now, let's click on the website. So this is the website. If you see here, the URL was very clearly, it was mentioned as what we have given, the same thing. So if I double click on that or click on that, it is opening this simple web page. Okay, you have created successfully this. If you want to learn more, this, you follow this video. Okay, so that's it. Okay, for creating the website, but you do have a lot of options here, like deployment slots, deployment credentials. This is for FTP, all those things. Before going here, I mean, just to give you here, you can, take the backups, you can give the custom domains, you can apply your certificates since this application is running on the HTTP protocol. Okay, and networking, you can do that, scale up. You guys already knows this, you have a good idea, like, scale up, scale down is like if the CPU percentage is 90 percentage, you scale up, scale down, or if it is 30 percentage or 80 percentage, you go down one instance by one, so that the web application is fully available highly. Okay, these are the web jobs. Okay, web jobs are, uh, most of the time, I mean, 99 percentage, the developers will use this one. We don't do that. Okay, but web jobs are, say example, if an um, if somebody is browsing this website, okay, your test website, okay, so you might need to, collect what is their browser information. Okay, or what is their geographical location, or you want to run some job, the developer wanted to run some um, job to, save the logs to somewhere. Okay, so these things can be, achieved as a scheduled jobs basically. Okay, or continuously, you wanted to run something on your website, so that time, you would be, using the web jobs. Okay, we'll have a look on that later point. Okay, so let's go down. Okay, so you want to get an alert if the website is down. You want it to be notified to your mobile or something like that. Okay, so this can be done. Okay, at this moment, this is only for US region. Okay, or US guys only can have that alert. Okay, your SQL integration, and you don't want to, delete this for whatever the reason. You can lock it. You want to redeploy the same thing, post your configuration, you can do that. Okay, this is where the service plans and the quotas, or the basically the change, you want to change this service plan, you can do that. Okay, and you can, deploy the test plans, you can do that, development to production, production to development, all those things can be performed here. And the tables for the mobile section, for example, most of the time what we do is, the front end, whatever the web page you open, your application front end would be on a cloud. Okay, but the back end would be on your on premises. So in that situation, how do you configure your data connections? So most of the time these are, very useful for the developers. Okay, and any additional, APIs, all those things. This is purely into the monitoring section. Okay, these are the similar everywhere on every tab or every blade. Okay, now if you want to raise a tickets related to this blade, okay, you can always raise a ticket by using from the support and troubleshooting. What happens is, since this is a trial edition, okay, most of them, it doesn't support actually, but when you buy it, okay, in real world, okay, when you buy that, okay, you'll also buying a service plan called support plan. Okay, the support plan, based on that, whenever the engineers got some issue, because everything is under control by Microsoft or the cloud service provider, so you need to have a support plan, and that support, you would take it up again. This is the same, this monitoring and supporting is the same on every blade. Okay, there's nothing new here. Okay, so let's browse this. I think we did already browse this. Okay, now let me go to keys. uh, okay, I don't know where it is, the slide. Yeah, this is the app service plan. Okay, so let's understand the plan of your website. So when web application is getting created, okay, when a web application is getting created, it is asking to choose service plans. What are the service plans you have? So example, you signed up for free trial, okay, it has expired after 30 days, right? It is normally expires 30 days. Still you can use a website called a free service tier. Okay, so here under free service tier, okay, you can have 10 websites with 100 shade resources can be used, okay, with the unlimited plan, maybe in the basic. Okay, I mean these are the things under free. Okay, but if you choose the basic, it is unlimited the websites. Shade is 10. Okay, standard is unlimited, premium is unlimited. So these are the plans. This is, say example, this is a plan 1, plan 2, plan 3, plan 4, plan 5 example. Okay, so you have all these plans. Okay, so if you choose this plan, free plan, after expiring, after expiry of your 30 days, you still can use without any limitations. Up to 10 websites can be created, like we just created 5 minutes back, or maybe 10 minutes back, the way we created. Similarly, you can run up to 10 websites for free with the storage of 1 GB, whereas the shade one, you can create up to 100. Okay, but it's not free, you will be charged. Okay, you'll be charged accordingly. Okay, and up to 1 GB of the free space can be, I mean the shade space can be used. But the only advantage is, with the shade one, custom domain can be configured. Say example, your company has Contoso example, you want to open with the contoso.com your website, okay, the website which you have created, okay, that can be achieved only from the shade, not from the free. Okay, so the base is the shade. So this is a one of the question, expected question, when it comes to your examination point of view. Mostly one question you can expect on this point, only just to this point. Okay, similarly on SSL also, they might give you a plan to choose either this or basic, and they may ask you to choose the SSL. Okay, then this is the option, basic one. Okay, what I've seen is, at least these three questions, like a free, shade, and basic one, I've seen most of the time. And most of the time the companies uses standard, which is unlimited websites with a 50 GB of free storage space. And when I say shade, actually what happens is, Microsoft actually may have one Windows VM example. It might be, example, you created here a website, okay, called a shade one example. Similarly, shade 2 also, I created that website that might be hosting on the same server, but it would be virtualized and isolated, so that there's no relationship between shade 1 of my tenant and between your tenant. Okay, there's no relationship, but only thing is, the same CPU is shade. Say example, you have a computing power of CPU and the RAM, that would be shared by both the people. one is my website as well as your website would be on the same server, so computing resources would be shared. That's called shared. Okay, and if you go for basic, okay, it would be dedicated. From the basic onwards, it is dedicated. Okay, so you can expect the questions related to the custom domain and SSL and the shade versus dedicated. Okay, these are the things at least you can expect questions. Okay, and post to the SSL, okay, integrated load balancing. So if you wanna use in load balancing, say example, you have a website, maybe www is running here, and you have end users who are hitting highly. Okay, you wanna control that traffic. So what you'll do is you would put it a separate load balancer the way we configured, okay, NLB. Okay, and maybe the similar one, another website, it would be shade this load basically. So that's called the NLB. If you want that configuration, definitely you should be either shade, at least the base one would be the shade. Okay, and the always on is the SQL related, or the contents. Okay, yes, yes. And the staged publishing, this is another question you can expect it. Okay, related to the staged one, so I would recommend custom domain, SSL, and computing related, and the shade one. I've seen these questions in the examination at least. Okay, so very simple. If you know this chart, okay, there's no difference while creating, okay, the web app. So it's the only matter of understanding or the requirement, because customer requirement is the key here. So that's what we put it in this simple table. Say example, this is a staged publishing. So like development to UAT to maybe production. Okay, this is called stage wise deployment. Okay, this is only possible with the standard and a premium. That's why I said in the last few minutes back, most of the companies go for a standard. Okay, and coming to the service level agreement or the SLA, they may take any point of downtime, your website here under free and shared. Whereas the basic and the standard and the premium, it doesn't, it doesn't like that. They give you uh, most of the uptime, okay, whatever they promised. Okay, so for the most cost effective would be always the basic one. If you look at the basic one, it's just missing the pre-stage one. Other than that, everything is okay. So you don't want to go for standard or the premium, then you can go for the basic. Okay, if you want to use post your 30-day trial, you can go for free up to 10 websites. Okay, so that means there are a few things which you can use it um, post free, basically trial, right? So that's the key of the key of the website app services. Okay, let's jump into the portal and see if we can little bit do the configuration side. The same website I'm going to create uh, in the Visual Studio also, maybe tomorrow's session. Okay, that is on Monday. Okay, for now you can uh, go through by creating simple website and run it how best you can choose this. Let's see, let's actually create learn fire one services plan. So this is the service plans. Okay, so it has created standard tire. Okay, so under standard tile, okay, what are the options we have? Scale up, scale down, all these things can be done under standard tile. Okay, so what are the apps has been associated? this is the app you have here, which is len 501 what assigned. Okay, let's go to my app. So this is very similar. If you look at here, scale up and scale down, for this you have all these service plans. Look at here. So the first one is a free, okay, which is 1 GB with no money would be deducted. And then shade, okay, and post to that you have a basic B1, B2, B3, and the standard you have S1, S2, S3. Okay, again, if you look at here, the major difference would be when you go for free or shade one, you can't scale up. But when you go for basic B1, okay, you have, as we discussed uh, in the PowerPoint, okay, you have custom domain option with the SSL included, and also you have uh, three instances can be automatically up, and this is purely manual scale up. Okay, and when you go up a little bit to the standard, you have traffic manager. A traffic manager is another component, okay, which would divert your traffic by using your DNS. Say example, what it does is actually it creates a different DNS records in your DNS server. Okay, so if a request is coming from Australia region, okay, so what happens is it actually checks, oh, this is Australia region, so I should point to Australia based IP. So that IP it would automatically divert so that it is quick and fast for the end user. Okay, that would be done by the traffic manager. This is nothing but geographical availability. That's for geo availability. Okay, and you can scale up to 10 instances. Okay, and you have an option for daily backup and 5 slots. So these slots are nothing but your uh, like you are moving from development to UAT example, and UAT to production. Okay, so normally how do you do in your on premises? Normally what we do is you will have a server called development server, you will have production server, you will have also UAT server. But in the cloud, you no need to have, because this is hosted on a web application, not on a VM. Maybe if you're talking about infrastructure as a service, yeah, definitely you might have in a cloud 3 different VMs. Okay, but I'm talking about the PaaS, okay, platform as a services, the concept which we are trying to understand here. uh, in this platform as a service, okay, you have a website, okay, that to be automatically scale up, or maybe you want to take a backup for Dave as separate, UAT separate, and production as a separate. What happens is basically, if my website is LAN 501 example, okay, what it does is it will add something called UAT as UAT, prod as prod, but the website similar looks like, okay, and then Dave as Dev. Okay, like that you can have up to slots as 10, okay, or 5, something like that. Okay, and the storage and the RAM and the cores, these are the things which you would consider before upgrading your load or putting a load on the web server. Okay, these are the premium which would be very costly actually. Okay, so these are the service plans actually. Okay, when you're talking about the servicing, how you're creating. Okay, so what Microsoft has done is actually, um, very few people knows that what happens is you created a website here. Okay, and you created one more website here. So what happens, for every website you are trying to create a service plan, right? So this is, the service plan is based on this, it would actually build, right? Say example, if I have taken this plan, okay, Let me go here a little bit up. Say example, I'm clicking on, I'm choosing uh, here 4 core, okay, 4 core with 7 GB RAM, 10 websites, and up to three scale instances. Okay, that means what would happen is only for this website it can scale up to 3, and it can use for 10 GB, it can use 4 cores and 7 GB RAM. Okay, with a service plan, this plan, if I take it as B3 example, so the web app one has a B3 plan. Okay, similarly I may have another plan called b2. So ideally what would happen is, for the website one, this is the website two. So if I choose a separate service plans, I'm actually getting more built and I'm not using uh, my resources most cost effectively, right? So here maybe I never run up these three instances because the load is not increased, maybe. Okay, load is not increased up to 3 instances. Okay, maybe my load is more required here, even though this 3 is done. Okay, I need, here maybe load is required, or maybe I have another application called 3 where this week the load is required. In that case, if I go for another service plan, Microsoft is actually charging for this and this and this based on the service plans, right? They're charging. So what would happen is ideally, I get more build. Instead of that, what you can do is you take one service plan. Okay, take one service plan as b3 example. Okay, create whatever the websites, put all these websites under this service plan. So what would happen is ideally, whatever the website is has a demand, that gets priority, and then it applies these resources. That's how the service plans are most cost effectively they would use it. Okay, so they go for high end, maybe for example v2, okay, p2 or p1. Okay, and then they include p2 with this maybe a p2 or p1, and they fully utilize that. Okay, so that's into the service plan side, but we would uh, we would work on it with the demos definitely. Okay, so you need to create this. This is quite common. Most of the services you have push these days, they're coming up in the new portal. Earlier it was not there, but in the new portal, push is coming up to basically it sends to some central point called notification hub. From there to it will send you mobile based alerts, so that you can log in and you can work on that. Okay, that's it for today. Any doubts on this of web apps? Definitely we'll do the demo. Okay, for now, if I take it any other topic, it would take some more time, so I don't want to go through that. Ideally, this is a kind of vocabulary feeding today's session, because we're gonna again talk on Monday, and we will create multiple times these websites with the different tools, and we will work on these FTP, or changing the code. Instead of the simple code, we would create with a SQL. We would create with a normal web app with a normal entry, like a coffee shop experience, where you order some kind of data you enter that gets stored in your SQL. A real time scenario kind of thing we would try. Okay,
Okay.
Okay, guys, then if you don't have any questions, maybe we can wind up and we can catch you on Monday.
Okay. See you on Monday, inshallah.
Sorry?
Okay, see you on Monday. After this lab session, we will have our questions.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And in between, if you have any doubts, maybe you can ping me on Saturday, maybe off Saturday or Sunday, or the chat. Okay, I will be available. I can take you one to one to fix in any kind of issues you encounter in the lab, so that you also can get more familiar with the tool.
Actually, Saturday is Bakrid, so we will be quite busy.
Oh, sorry.
We won't even.
Any Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
guys. Post
Yeah.
completing
Okay.
this
Yeah.
course
Okay.
also you can ping it. Okay, because
Okay.
that days, I get, some time, so we can,
Okay.
always work on it.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
And how many days we have subscription? Where is this subscription? Free trial.
Maybe 1 week or something.
Okay.
Up to 9th.
Till ninth. Okay.
Till 9th.
9 more days. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. Then we'll catch you, Monday. Have a
Okay.
nice weekend then.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just, log out. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Rush.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.